Gamecast. Well, there's GameCube and then there's Dreamcast. What you thought?
Well, I said I got Gamecast, man. Damn, I can't afford it.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to Yo Gamecast, where I am your host, Yo Fizz, and I am joined, as always, by Enigma Jake and MBZ Lord.
I am MBZ Lord, that is how you say it.
This week, stuff happened. Witcher 3 came out, and I'm sure you guys will share a lot about that.
What? Something came out this week?
Oh, shut up.
Apparently, I don't know. Some video game.
What's The Witcher?
Oh, okay.
I think he kills witches. I think that's his job.
Yeah.
Kills witches. Yeah.
No. He's one who witches. See, you gotta.
Ooh.
I'm an English major. That's how I look at it. So
right. Okay.
It's a weird way to say warlock.
He doesn't carry a wand, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. So, how was your guys' week? Anything exciting happen?
It was alright.
Yeah.
Nothing particularly. I just went out and had an Indian, so now tomorrow's bathroom trips are going to be an interesting time. See, so this shit always happens to me. I'm fine with spicy food. I got no problem with spicy food whatsoever when I'm eating it. When it comes out the other end, that's another deal. It is.
Sure, man.
It's fireworks, so. But yeah, so there you go.
Quite like
my
a
week
spicy
was
butthole.
basically as per usual. I worked all week, did Smash Sunday, and we went out for Taiwanese food yesterday, and I may have got food poisoning.
Yay!
Oh boy.
We're all pretty under the weather today, it seems like.
Yeah, it's just good times.
Yeah, I just woke up feeling shitty and dehydrated, and I've drank like 4 water bottles, and I don't know, whatever. Let's see how it goes. But video games were played, I'm sure. I know that you guys shared a common one, so
we did.
What MBZ? What did you play that Jake didn't play?
Okay, so about a month ago, I think Valiant Hearts went on sale on Steam, and I had like a bit of money off on that too because of the Steam trading cards. You sell cards, you get free like 10p's here and there. You'll stack them up, and you'll get like 50p or whatever eventually. So it was like £3 for Valiant Hearts, and I got it for like $2.50. So it was a good deal, and I thought, yeah, I should probably play this game. And then I ran into the wonders that is Double DRM, where Ubisoft decided it's a great idea to force you to use Uplay even though you bought it on Steam. So that's fucking like the worst thing in existence. Because I'm pretty sure that, because I booted it up, and I'm pretty sure that Uplay was the reason that my PC basically slowed down to such a degree that I had to just shut it down and restart it again. Like, It completely fucked my PC over. I'm not sure what happened. I went in and turned off all of the online settings, because I think what was happening was my PC got disconnected from the internet, but Uplay needs to like ping constantly to be online, and so it basically just fucked everything up and slowed it down to a crawl. So,
oh
God, so tragic.
Yeah, you have to have Uplay to play Far Cry 4 on Steam as well, and
you needed it for Far Cry 3 as well.
Yeah, so there's that. I haven't played Far Cry 4 in a long time, but I remember like Uplay being up, and I was like, I don't fucking need this. Like, close it and like shut out my game. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's terrible. And I think like they try and force like Facebook integration and like tweet your achievements. It's horrible.
I don't want to do any
and we
of
can
that.
kind of do a comparison to GOG Galaxy later, which is basically the new thing from GOG, their client, which I'm playing The Witcher 3 on. I think you got it free as well, Jake. So are you playing?
It's through GOG.
Yeah. So that system's way better. It's really simple and nice and easy to use. But anyway, Valiant Hearts is a really good game. It's so beautiful. It uses the Ubi art engine they used for Rayman Legends and Origins, which is basically the artist, when they basically draw something, it just pops straight into the game, and it looks gorgeous. It's lovely art style. It's very kind of interesting tonally, because it's all about World War One and about the horrors of the war. So with this cartoony art style, they can do a lot with depicting
kind
kind of
heavy.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But it has a charm to it as well, and I really appreciate that. And I think it has the ability to engage with heavier topics because of its cartoony art style. There's kind of a sort of disconnection there that they can kind of make this commentary and like you see horrific imagery, but it's not completely off-putting because it is so gorgeous to look at. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very puzzly, and I'm probably about halfway through it, about 3 hours in. But it's great. It's really good. It's kind of interesting because Ubisoft have recently been going down this path of their AAA stuff has been just garbage. Like a lot of it recently is just terrible. But they're kind of smaller games like Child of Light, which a lot of people liked last year. Grow Home is another cool one that came out this year that I really want to try. And Valiant Hearts. Valiant Hearts is fantastic.
Nice.
So yeah, that's
Sounds
good.
really cool.
Yeah, it's a fun one. The other thing I've gone back to that isn't Witcher is Final Fantasy 13-2. So I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy 13. I know a lot of people aren't. I just love the battle system in that game, and 13.2 keeps the battle system. So despite the fact that the frame rate is just the worst thing in the world, literally, I felt like it was dropping to 15 at points. It was utter garbage. I was
How do
playing
you do
through, I was
that
like,
in a Final Fantasy game where it's like
I don't know,
all visuals?
I think the bigger
shouldn't
question is,
happen.
how do you actually like Final Fantasy 13?
Okay, so I really love that battle system, and the thing with Final Fantasy 13 is it was the first time that I really played a game with proper voice acting and cutscenes and a lot of that stuff. So it had more of an impact on me, despite the fact that it's not the best story in the world, it's not the best voice acting, and yeah, that combat system is really fun. So despite the fact that in 13.2 I don't really care about the story anymore, it's really convoluted and bullshitty, and the characters are just not really that likable, I'm just going to go through it because I like that combat system. It's super streamlined, fun, and I can just pop a podcast on in the background and just grind and just play, and yeah, it's fun. So gone back to that. I'm probably going to finish that up because it's one of those things. I tend to start games and just leave them for a long time, and ruminate, and then I'm like, I really should finish this. So that's what I did. I'm going back to it, and hopefully I'll finish it soon. I'm quite near the end, I think. So
Nice.
yeah, pretty much what I've been playing that isn't The Witcher.
Great. I'm gonna assume all Jake played was The Witcher, so I'm gonna talk
And
about
Smash, yeah.
I'm gonna talk a little bit what I played. I played Metroid Fusion a bit more, and complained to MBZ about it like nonstop while I did it.
Yeah, you did actually. Yeah,
I was like,
That's-
it's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right, thinking back on it, there are a lot of moments in that game where you're like, what the fuck do I do here? Like,
Yeah.
it's not clear, it's not made clear, and I don't think about that because I've played that game so many times, it's second nature, so
Right.
I just like run through it without kind of paying attention, but
Yeah.
certainly there is.
Like, there's one room where there's just two really tall walls really far apart from each other, and you just have to know to lay a bomb everywhere on the ground, and a thing will come up and get you over that wall.
Right, because you don't have the high jump at that point, so
Right.
you're trying to like bounce, you're basically ostensibly stuck between these two walls, and you
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck to do. You try shooting everything, you try using missiles, and then eventually you just bomb the floor, and
Yeah.
a little kind of metal cans just pop up from the ground.
Yeah, and then just something just happens. And they
Yeah.
don't, like, the double jump or, like, the wall jump was, like, really weird for me. Because the way you have to do it is sort of like an extra step. You don't just jump into the wall and then jump again. You, like, jump in the wall and you hold the other direction and jump the other way also.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
why, like, I was stuck on, like, this other part that you, like, couldn't get out of unless you wall jumped. I was like,
Right.
well, what am I doing? So I had to,
Yeah,
like,
see-
look up how to wall jump.
Metroid Fusion was the first game that I played that had a wall jump in it, so because I'd learned that you basically use the other D-pad to reflect yourself off the wall, that's how I tried to play with wall jumps in other games, like in Super Metroid, and it's not quite the same. Like, it is a different system, so that's something that can be confusing, especially if you've never played it before, so...
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
weird.
I
But, like,
sympathize.
I got the hang of it, and I'm chugging along slowly but surely, just playing, like, a little bit at a time. It's fun. I like it. And I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised I never sat down and played, like, a Metroid game before.
Yeah.
It's like definitely the kind of game that I like. It's just weird that it's taken me so long to like play my first one.
Yeah,
But when it's
a
free,
fun
it's
game.
easy
It's
to
good,
like.
so look forward to. Yeah.
But yeah, like I beat like my first boss and stuff. It's great. It's good times.
Sweet.
Um, and then I started on Dragon Age Origins, which is a game I got.
It's a great game.
Yeah, I bought the Ultimate Edition when it came out for PS3, used. Like it still has the used tab on it for like $54.
The Ultimate Edition on PS3, and I have I'm gonna have to open up Steam. I have it on Steam as well.
Nice.
They were giving it away
Yeah,
for
I had
free
the
on
Ultimate Edition.
Origin last year around October time, so I
wow.
got the free copy on there.
Oh wow. Well, I bought it for like $54 when it came out. I played it for an hour and then I set it down for about 5 years. And
That's
so
it. That's how we roll.
And so like okay, Jake's a little miffed with me because I played D&D without him. So like for the first time ever, like I played D&D this week. My comic shop. Just
You can keep talking. It's fine.
Okay.
I was trying to stop the conversation.
No, I know. It's just like lost my train of thought. But like my comic shop held like a D&D for beginners, and like the guy who owns the comic shop was like a DM, and it was like a really cool environment for people who wanted to learn how to play. And I listened to like a D&D podcast with Brian Poussin, and they just play, and it's a bunch of funny people, and it's a good listen. So I had a little bit of experience with it, but like I had so much fun, and there's no schedule for when we're gonna come back. So I was like, I need to use magic right now. So I start going through like all the games I own. I'm like, whatever. It's like Dragon Age Origins. This game is old, but you can be a mage. So I popped it in, like really not expecting a whole lot out of it, and I had a blast with it. Like I've been playing it nonstop pretty much, and like every side quest I can do, I'm just doing it. And I got a dog, which I didn't know happened. Get a fucking warhound. Get a warhound. I love dogs so much. There's no way I'm taking him out of my party. He's like actually an active party member.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Yeah. You start off because you'll have 3 people basically right after the tutorial area, and it's whatever race you decide your character. There is a human kind of tank guy, and then there's your dog, and then you obviously meet a bunch of characters as the game goes on.
Yep.
I've never used the dog. Maybe I will on my next playthrough.
Here's what I did, because I was worried about a dog being in my party, and I looked up, like, if the dog was a viable character. And, like, ultimately I don't care, I'm gonna use the dog anyways, but, like, a lot of people were saying, like, he's the best DPS in the game, and, like, he's excellent against, like, opposing mages, and I'm like, fuck, it's a fucking dog, alright, let's go. And, like, I read this other forum where, like, people were like, did anyone actually use a dog? It's stupid. And, like, it was a whole bunch of posts of, like, yeah, dude, it is stupid. And then people would just go, like, what? No, I couldn't live without my dog. And they would say the name that they named their dog. It's great. Like, someone's like, I can't slay Darkspawn without Barkspawn. It's like, this man's a genius.
How far are you into it? Like, have you met like Morgan yet?
Yeah. I'm
I don't know anybody who has played that game and not kept Morgan. Mostly because everyone just wants to bang Morgan.
Sure. Well, she wears very revealing clothing, so that makes sense. I've been giving her gifts a lot because
you want to bang Morgan?
Well, I'm a lady mage elf. I don't know.
That doesn't mean you can't bang Morgan.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Actually, I don't know. There are some characters who are like bisexual and not. I don't know if I'm pretty sure she's one of them, but
she seems pretty free with herself. But like
for a while. I've never played a female character, so I don't know.
Yeah. Like I keep making like tactical decisions. Like I want to play it not super to the like to the rules, and like I want to play by my own rules. I'm a badass lady witch, mage, elf, and but like I make certain decisions where like, all right, I'm gonna be nice to this person because I want to get exactly what I want out of it, and then she goes like, why do you want to help this guy? And like her level of appeasement with me goes down. So I give her gifts all the time.
My thing,
trying to win a war.
I have in that game. I have made a character, and my sole purpose in life was to try and bang literally every character in the game.
Yeah, good times.
Some of them were just obviously not feasible, but there are a couple of like bisexual characters, and you're like, yeah, we're gonna bang this guy too. Why not? My character, that all I want to do. I don't care about the world going to shit. I just want to have a sexcapade.
There's like it's weird because like I get Alistair with me, and since I'm a lady,
Alistair is one of my favorite characters.
I really like the banter between him and Morgan. So like I don't know if I'll ever change those two, but like since I'm a lady, there's always like an option to like quasi flirt with him. And I'm like, ugh, no, like I don't want to do that. I got bigger fish to fry than nailing this nerd.
You say that now, but there are things that happen with Alex.
No, dude, I don't care about him. I don't care about nailing this dude, man. Fuck that. All I need is more power and my dog.
Do you care about spoilers?
Yeah, I'm super into this game. Like I'm gonna finish it. I absolutely
I
care
won't
about
say
spoilers.
anything then.
Yeah.
How much have you played then so far?
Oh God. I've been playing for about 2 days. I'd say I put in about maybe 7-8 hours, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm super into it.
Which part, like which area did you go to first after the
betrayal?
Yeah.
I went to the town where like bandits are on the bridge and like.
Okay.
And then right after that, I went to the guy that Alistair suggests.
Okay.
Where he's like sick and
yeah.
But now I'm there now and there's like a problem, like they're getting overrun by like Darkspawn, I think.
Yeah, basically
I haven't helped them out
area
yet.
You go to has like 2 options that you can kind of do in it. And then obviously the way you play them out affects the later games.
Yeah.
So you can replay the same game a couple times.
Yeah.
So
like I've been
gone
reading
through
like
to
people
try
have like
and
played through this game like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so like
that's crazy to
I've
me.
done it where I've done one path and then the next time I play it I want to do the other path just because I want to see the whole game.
Yeah. I'm curious to see because I was a mage, so I started out with helping out Joe Wayne from like the Mage's Temple. Like, do you remember that part at all?
Yeah.
Like, I want to see if like I see him again because I want to murder him now. Because like I trusted him and like I went to like the High Templar guy and I like it took you in like a weird way of like where you speak to him to like where you have to tell him what's going on and I didn't want to because I was like, this guy's a dweeb, he's scared, he's a nerd, I believe him, let's get him out of here. And he's like, oh dude, he's a blood mage. I was like, pfft, no he's not. And then he fucking is.
Well, he totally is.
Yeah, so like, now I want to kill him. So I'm waiting for the moment where I see him again, because I'm sure that you do at one point.
What's combat like in Dragon Age? Because I've heard a lot of people talk about it on podcasts and stuff, but I've never really watched any footage of it. How RPG is it versus actiony?
It feels like the combat kind of feels like an MMO.
Okay.
Like it kind of feels World of Warcrafty.
Interesting.
Do you think that's a fair assessment, Jake?
Did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic or Mass Effect?
No, but I know Mass Effect system, so
it's very similar.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
It's like you have like spells and abilities like bound to like your face buttons, and then you have a basic attack, and that's basically it. You can move around in battle, and it's cool. It's fun. I super like it. my main concern is like, was it going to hold up? Because it's like 5 years old, longer, because that's like the special edition, so it gets older than that, and so that was the other thing I googled before I even started playing. Is like, does this game hold up? And like people are like, yeah, dude, I fucking love this game. A lot of people like it better than Inquisition, which is interesting also.
I haven't played Inquisition yet. It's on my to-do list.
It's most certainly
Origins is great.
now. Like,
Dragon Age 2 was meh. So I'm hoping Inquisition pulls me back into that series.
Yeah, I
Inquisition is
would love to play it.
supposedly the game that never ends. People,
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very interesting. So yeah, and it'll be weird if I don't know if I'll find a new party member that I like more than my party now, even though it's probably like not like the best. Like,
What is your party right now? The dog and who?
the dog, me, Morrigan, and Alistair. So it's like I got like 2 fighter tanks and 2 mages, and it's probably like not the most strategic way to go about it. But like, I really like the banter between the two. I love my dog, and obviously I like my own character. So
does the AI control your other party members, or do you get to give them commands as well?
You can command them.
You can command them. You can set up tactics. So like in your pause screen, you
Right,
can kind of control how they battle. You can
Right,
also
so like concentrate on healing or like go heavy
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
You can also switch between characters, and so if you wanted to battle as someone real quick, you could. And it's really right on the fly. You just like hit a button, you just, like go through each party member.
Nice.
So it's really nice that way. Where like, if something's really happening with someone, you need to take them over for a second. Like you can. It's cool. But yeah, that is all I played. So, but yeah, God, I love that game. I'm gonna play so much more of it this week.
Dragon Age Origins is a game that I go back to constantly. It is one of my favorite RPGs, especially one of the modern RPGs, just because it's a big world, but it doesn't ever feel too big or too small.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so much that you can do, and there's so much replayability in it because of that. I still haven't played with like every class or like every race.
Oh, I'm a fucking elf, and everyone just shits on you like left and right, like you're. So
Yeah, well, that's just the way the world works. It's just like the elves are like. I hate to use it as an example, but like elves, the black people in this world.
That's
like,
honestly what it feels like. They're like, "Oh, the fuck do you want, elf?" It's like,
Well,
whoa, dude, like,
'cause
slow your fucking roll, like.
Yeah, there's 2 types of elves. There's like the city elves, which I believe is the kind that you have to play, and then there are I don't know if you've run into them yet, but there are like elves that live out in the woods, and they're kind of like the more traditional stuff. But they don't like people. Like they try and keep to their own because they know people fucking hate them.
Right. And that's what it seems like. Everyone just thinks like elves are dicks, and they totally mistreat them. Like they're not like humans. Like, I mean, because they're not, but like they're not people rather. And so they. Just,
Well, it's like the dwarves don't get treated that way. It's the weird
like
thing.
the dwarves are fine. Like they don't care. Like, but elves for whatever reason, like they just shit on them. And like so, whenever that happens, I'm like, I'm a fucking Grey Warden. Wash your tongue, bitch.
Yeah,
I like my first move every time they like say like I'm an elf. I always go like, "Look, I'm a high officer," and then if they still are like rude, I'll be like, "Look, I'll fucking kill you." I don't play that shit.
Yeah.
But I love that game. I'm sure I'll be talking about it next week, and so excited.
Awesome.
Playing it all the time. So, if you guys, Witcher 3.
Yes, The Witcher 3.
How far have you gotten into it? Like, how much have you played?
So I'm about 13, 14 hours in.
Oh, you're way further than me then.
I'm not hugely that far in the story though, and that's kind of something that I want to talk about straight off. Is I've talked before how I don't like going around doing side stuff a lot in open world games, and how I don't feel like that stuff is meaningful in any way. In Witcher 3, yeah, exactly. Until I played Witcher 3, the thing about it is, I think first of all, it's an RPG, right? So going around and doing extra stuff and leveling up is meaningful, and it will help you in the long run for the main game, for the story missions, which all have kind of. I like that they do like suggested levels for you, so then you know, like, yeah, I can probably tackle this. And even if one's a couple levels above you, it shows up in like green or whatever, or in red if you can't take it on. So that's nice. And I just like going around and just finding things just randomly happening, clearing out a group of bandits, get loot, go back, sell it, because money is very scarce in the game as well. Like, it's really hard to get a lot of crowns, which is now the new currency, and that's something, like, that's a kind of subtle world-building thing that, because I played Witcher 2 so recently, the currency in the north used to be orans.
Well, you still find the orans. This is the funny thing.
You still find them, but they're not currency anymore.
They're useless until you get to Novigrad.
Right. So you have to basically go to a bank and then turn them in. There are florins as well. Do you know where florins come from? Is it a different kingdom?
Yeah, I think florins were just... I think... Fuck. I'm trying to remember now. I think they were from Witcher 1.
Okay. Yeah, well, you find orans and florins.
Yeah, you find multiple types of currency, but because the Nilfgaardians took over, it's now crowns.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, because the game opens and they've basically conquered. They've basically taken over the north. Temeria is basically no more. And it's hinted at, interestingly, in the enhanced edition of Witcher 2, there's a post-game cutscene which shows, like, the invasion, like, going up the country. So the fact that, like, it picks up there and it's already happened, I think is really neat. And it allows people who don't know the story to kind of jump in without any barrier. But for people who have played the previous game, they know what's happened, and it's just a nice touch, and it's really cool. So yeah, finding those coins and being like, oh shit, I can't actually spend these because they've just gone and changed the currency system because it's all been taken over. That's really neat. But
can you do anything with them, or like
you can?
You have to wait until you get to the free city of Novigrad, and then you can exchange them in the bank for crowns.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really neat world building.
It's subtle world building things that, like, The Witcher's always done things like this, where, like, because especially when you come from a game that's based off of short stories, they have a lot that they can really build on, but they also have a lot that they have to expand upon, because they do have to create it to be a game, especially one that, when you look at The Witcher 3, I've heard it's like, 200 hours if you beat everything.
Apparently, that's what people are saying, yeah.
Which is just a lot of gameplay.
Yeah.
You're not getting no 200 hours for the gameplay just based off some story, so they do have to do a lot. And I know I'm really enjoying it. I haven't done a ton of side missions yet.
Are you out of White Orchard? Are you into Velen yet?
Yeah, I'm in Velen. The thing I just finished was I met up with Kira, and we met up with the wild hunt in the cave. I literally finished that little quest, and I'm in a boat in the lake, and I was like, all right, that's it for the day.
Yeah, that's one of the missions I did as well quite recently. It's awesome because you spend like this hour down in this dungeon. There are some really cool boss fights that happen, and you get a bunch of cool loot. You like the feeling of going out to the surface and the brightness of the open world greeting you after you've been down in this dungeon. It's phenomenal, and the fact they give you a boat as well.
I didn't have that feeling because it was nighttime when I got it.
Oh, well, at least you had like the fresh open air to wander around.
Yeah, it was still like. Man, that was especially because like there are two quote unquote boss fights there. The first one I didn't have a problem with. The golem wasn't tough, but that wild hunt fucking warrior, man, that was a bitch.
So what difficulty are you playing on? I'm guessing you're going much higher than the standard one. Are you playing on Death March, or are you on the one below that?
I'm on the one below Death March. I'm not about to do Death March on my first playthrough. That's just silly.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm playing on normal. I didn't find that guy too bad, but obviously, being on normal...
It was just annoying, just especially because, like, he opens up the portal and then he starts to heal, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah, he just sends out all of his little hounds and then just heals all the way back up to full again.
The thing that really sucked about that fight for me was my silver... I have not picked up a new silver sword because I haven't found one better. but it started to break down, and I accidentally repaired my steel sword instead, and I only had the one repair kit with me.
Oh no.
And I'm just like, oh god damn it.
Oh no, that's the worst.
So I'm sitting there trying, like I have to be really like tactical in how I approach it. I used a lot of Igni in that fight.
Yeah. No, actually pro tip for if you want a new silver sword, just after that cave when you're in the boat, there's a really small island like to the east. There's like a kind of a big central area, and there's this tiny little island to the east. There's a treasure chest there which you can dive down and grab, and it has a really good silver sword for that point in the game.
But do you need a key for it?
You get it from a dude on the island, I think.
Okay.
It's part
Well
of the
then,
treasure.
I will definitely do that when I play the game later today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that thing has helped me quite a bit, and I think it has a bit of freeze ability. No, the sword you get from the Wild Hunt dude has a 1% freeze chance.
Yeah, I think I might be using that. I don't know if it was better.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sword. It's the one that I equipped. But yeah, in terms of just going around and dicking around and doing side stuff, today I played for like 2 hours and I didn't touch any missions. Not a story mission, not a side mission, nothing. I just went for question marks, like all those question marks. The area around Midcops, which is like kind of a bit more southern area, that place is kind of suited to the level that I was at. And so I just ran around and cleared out all the question marks that I could, and I basically repopulated a couple of villages, killed some drowners, got some treasure, and then just went back, sold all these swords. I got down to this coast where pirates were, and there was like 40 pirates, and I was like, okay, they're all about like level 6, and I was about 7 at that point, so I could take them down. It took a while, but I just grabbed all their swords, went back to a merchant, and I have over 1,000 crowns now. Sorry,
I think the other thing is... Sorry.
Did they have any updog?
What?
Did they have any updog?
I have no idea.
I know what you're trying to do.
No, but did they have any updog?
No.
I'm so confused right now. I have no idea.
He's trying to get you to ask, what's up, dog? Anyway, I think another reason why that cave was so challenging for me is I was underleveled. I'm definitely underleveled for that.
Yeah, and it is kind of a slow grind at the moment. Really, story quests are the only things that are giving you meaningful experience. Unless you go and do quite a lot of those question marks. Like, I managed to level from 6 to 7, but it was in a space of an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I'd gone after like 7, 8 different areas. So it certainly is one of those things where you want to keep doing main story missions at a good pace, because otherwise you're going to get left behind in the level game, and that could be a little bit annoying. But yeah,
I think I definitely want to, especially like today, when I go play it, I'm going to do a lot more side stuff. Because in White Orchard I did a few. I actually really, really liked the side quest. It was to clear out the well, to save the Cyclip girl. I loved that quest. It was so good. Just like the way you had to track it out, and then like you learn the story about it. And then you go and talk to like the herbalist to kind of get more back. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and that's the thing. Everything it feels meaningful and part of the world. And I think Witcher 2, to some aspects, got a little bogged down in the politics. Right, there is so much like jargon being thrown around and this name and that name, and it's a great story, but it is very political, and you do have to pay attention a lot of the time. This really feels like a lot of the stories are kind of about the people living in the land and their own problems and their own issues being impacted by the fact this empire has come and taken over. And I just love that. Like, the dialogue is fantastic across the board, and almost every side quest has like completely interesting and engaging story. And that's like partly the reason why I did every side quest in White Orchard, and I intend to like do as many as I can in the main game.
I definitely will continue to do that as well. The friggin' frying pan one was hilarious.
It's so easy, but it's funny.
It's really easy, but at the same time, you do get some world building stuff, because you get a guy who cleaned off a pan to make ink to write letters, but we don't really know what the letters were about, and I'm wondering if it might be because I didn't do all of the quests in that area, but like, does that come up again?
It may do. I know that there is some stuff because I watched a little bit of Jesse Cox's playthrough, and
I'm not watching a playthrough of any, like, I'm not watching any streams of it. I'm not watching.
Yeah.
And I normally watch a lot of Jesse Cox's Let's Plays.
Yeah.
But this is a game I really want to experience on my own, and then maybe afterwards I'll go do it, because I'm sure I'll finish the game before Jesse does.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously.
Because I know how Jesse plays games.
Right.
Like,
well,
I played the Old Republic with Jesse. Like, I know how he plays games. It's friggin' time-consuming.
Yeah. Well, the thing was that I'd done basically the whole of White Orchard. I was in Velen at that point, so I just decided to check it to see what he was doing, where he was at in the second part, and there's a windmill where you can go and fight some quite high-level dudes and go and get a treasure, like, down in a chest. And I, by, like, just sheer chance of having wandered around, I'd already found the key to that chest somewhere else. But what I think you're meant to do is you're supposed to find that area where the key is first and, like, read a note, and then that will lead you to the windmill. But I wasn't really paying attention to that, so I just kind of stumbled into it. So there is this kind of subtle connection if you're reading the letters and you're kind of figuring stuff out that it's all going to work. But I just kind of stumbled into that. So maybe there's something with the dude with the ink. Maybe it's something in Velen. We'll find out, I guess, play more. But yeah, it's great. How are you finding the combat so far? I feel like it's a bit better than Witcher 2. It's still similar, but the addition of the dodge button with B has been a lifesaver, because they basically merged the sign with your stamina, and so...
Wait, whoa, time out. The dodge button with B. Like, are you playing on a controller?
Yeah, I'm playing on a controller.
Okay, I'm playing on keyboard and mouse. I'm just that's not good, man. Like, the B button's random.
The B button's, like, down there, yeah. No, that would be kind of crazy, that's true. Right, yeah, well, I guess
okay.
you'll have a much easier time accessing signs then, because that can just be bound to whatever keys on the keyboard. Whereas I have to go through, like, a wheel.
You can you can. I'm pretty sure you can scroll through them with your mouse wheel. But yeah, it's also, I think, 3 through whatever. Although I have not at all used the crossbow yet. Not even touched it.
No, after the Griffin quest, that's...
I didn't even use it in the Griffin quest.
Really? Okay, fair enough.
I just, for one, I'll be completely honest, I didn't know how to equip it. It was just there. Like, I don't know how to pull it out.
You didn't turn the tutorials on, that's why, probably.
I know what?
Didn't turn the tutorials on, probably.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most, the first part of that fight, he's already down on the ground, you're fighting, and then you chase him, and then I just kind of waited for him to... I basically really wanted to hit him as he dove attack me.
Oh, bad idea.
I pulled it off a couple times, and then eventually he just landed, and I finished off the fight.
Yeah.
But I've, not touched the crossbow since. I don't know if I'll have to at any point. I kind of have no interest in it. I just like going up and just fighting things with swords.
Yeah, and really, Quen still the best sign, in my opinion. That thing it's so useful. You just cast it and you basically get a free hit. And it has, in the upgrade path, it branches down to where it basically explodes on impact if someone hits you. So it's a really good kind of area clearing thing if you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies. I've basically just been spamming the hell out of that. And I've heard a lot of people say that Death March is practically impossible unless you're spamming Quen.
I believe, even me, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so damn, they even tell you when you're in the dream sequence at the very beginning, it's just look, man, Quen's your best friend. Just use it. And so that's what I do. Especially if I'm in the Wild Hunt Warrior fight, I had to use it. Because I was under-leveled, so that whole sequence really put me in a hurting for, all my food and stuff. And it's just alright, well, I have to be very careful with how I approach this. My sword's gonna break soon. I'm running low on food. My health bar is just not super high at the moment. And I had to sit back, and I had to cast Igni a lot, just to, get away, man. Just stay on fire.
Yeah. Dude's a bitch. But yeah, it's I I absolutely love it. It's fucking-tastic game. And
I mean, I have not touched any game that's come out in like 2015 yet. But if this is not Game of the Year, at least a candidate, I will be surprised.
Yeah, it's going to be in the conversation. This is the best game available on any next-gen console right now, let alone just PC. So
yeah, well, I mean, not that I played a lot of games that came out last year either, but I am pretty sure this game blows them all out of the water.
Yeah, it really does. How's your
performance?
How's your performance been on PC with your 960 you got, right?
It was bad day one, but they did have a patch to fix it.
They just put out a patch today, actually, apparently, which improves the texture quality on high and ultra settings. So, check that out.
Yeah, I have everything on ultra, running at 1080, probably getting around 50 FPS stably.
Okay.
And that's without overclocking anything. Like it's running just fine.
That's cool. Yeah, I turned some stuff down just to keep a solid 60. I don't like playing below 60. I have to have it up
if
there.
I'm hitting 50 like stably, I don't care. It's close enough.
Alright.
If I was playing at 30, yes, I would turn it down.
Sure.
But I'm close enough where like I don't notice the 10 frame difference. I do notice a 30 frame difference, so it's something that I'm willing to do. Because I just went out and I bought a new monitor the other day, so I could play at 1080 and actually see it at 1080. And then my old monitor, which is this one, it would also do 1080, but I didn't have a DVI cable for it. So I bought one of those, and now I actually have a dual monitor set up again, which is great because now I can actually have the game on the big. This monitor is freaking massive. I didn't realize it was going to take up this much space. But I've got the big 24-inch monitor to play the game on, and then my smaller one on the side I keep up Skype or Facebook and stuff if I ever need to have people talk to me. And for the most part, I ignore them because I'm way too into The Witcher. But if something actually happens that I look over and hey, I need you for something, I'm oh, okay, I'll pause the game, go over, deal with that, and go back.
You know, if you get a third monitor, you could be an evil villain.
Yeah.
I would love to actually get a third monitor. Because I really want to start streaming. And I think I don't think you can feasibly do it without two.
I stream with one monitor and it's a pain in the fucking ass.
That's the thing. It's a pain in the ass. Especially for me, because I would like to play at full screen.
Yeah.
If I have to play at 720, obviously I'm not going to play at full screen because that's just silly. But if I'm playing at 1080, I want it on my full screen, and then I want my chat, everything I need on another monitor. There are plenty of people who run 3 or 4, Coke Carnage, one of my favorite streamers on Twitch. I think he has 4 or 5 monitors on his setup. And he uses all of them.
For what?
Yeah.
Look, man, I don't know.
One thing on each one?
He has a lot going on with his stream. So he's got obviously his game is on one. I think he's got all of his social media on another. His chat and a lot of his bot stuff, all of the things he does with his stream are on one. Okay. And then I think the last one is for Skype and if he needs to chat with anybody. So he has everything kind of accessible to him without having to pull it up.
That's cool.
Yeah, his setup's interesting. He's got the 2 monitors kind of stacked on top of each other. Let's go landscape style, normal. And then the 2 on the sides, he's kind of rotated around so they're lengthwise.
Oh man, now that sounds like an evil villain.
But he's the nicest man alive.
I know. Yeah, that's what he wants you to think.
Yeah.
Fisk sounds like a good guy when he wants you to think he's a good guy, but then he'll crush your head in a car door.
Man, I'm episode 7 of Daredevil right now. I need to finish that.
I'm one episode away from the finale.
Oh really?
I'm on the finale. I haven't watched it in 2 weeks. I've just been waiting for a good time to be totally immersed into it. So good.
I gotta get back to it.
I want to. I just haven't had the opportunity.
Once you start, I have a feeling that you'll just like keep going with it.
Steven tonight did it. Steven tonight did Spartacus, so it's like a show that I really want to watch. But it's like you said, I don't want to watch one episode and then like stop because I can't do that with any show.
Right. I don't think you'll be able to.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, that means I have to watch it when I'm in bed before I go to sleep at night, which means I'm going to be up till like 4 in the friggin' morning. And not that that's a huge problem for me because I don't have to get up early. I don't particularly want to start watching a show at 1 in the morning. Because I did this when like the first few episodes of Game of Thrones leaked, and I could not stop. Like I watched them all, even though I was half asleep by the time like the third one rolled around. I was like, no, gotta watch it. You gotta
do it. You gotta do it.
I still haven't watched anything from this season yet.
Oh
I'll
man,
get around to it. We'll see.
Catch up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Witcher's great. There are a couple of little niggly things that annoy me. Roach can be a pain in the ass. So Roach is your horse, Fizz, basically, and you can call him wherever you want. You just double tap or whatever on the keyboard, whatever. You just call him.
Yeah, you just hit the X key and he comes on.
And he pops up out of nowhere, but the amount of times he just fucking stands inside a tree, or like on a fence, or like somewhere fucking garbage that you cannot get to him. It's
well,
just
he's
like,
a roach.
Hey. So that's a little bit annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it's just a bit of a frustration. And also, the underwater controls are fucking garbage. Oh my lord, I don't know how anyone designed those. They are so terrible.
I haven't been a fan of any underwater controls since like Mario.
No, I don't think there are any underwater controls that work well ever. In any, I have yet to find a video game where I am happy with the underwater controls.
Mario
but this is
3,
a new level of just god awful. I can't.
I don't mind. Granted, I'm playing on keyboard and mouse, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, it might be easier for you, sure.
The
amount of times that you have to go under and like loot chests that have been drowned under the sea, though, and just trying to get out of there where there are drowners like rolling around trying to kill you while you're under there, it can be a pain. It can go south very quickly. So.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
So I think it might be time to switch our gears.
Ooh.
Oh, we didn't actually talk about Gwent.
Oh, you didn't? Oh. Well, fucking talk about Gwent while they're here.
Gwent is just like a little side quest. It's basically a card game, and it's the constant side quest in The Witcher 3, where you can collect all the cards and play a bunch of people in Gwent. And I honestly have only played with the dude that you meet in the first tavern.
Yeah, same here. I haven't gone after
like,
anyone else.
There are plenty of people that I've come across like, hey, you want to play Gwent? I'm like, nah, not really.
But what I've heard is that
if you
try,
bruh.
I've heard that if you try and play those people, they will just fucking crush you because their cards are just infinitely better than the starting stuff you have. So unless you go
you can buy stuff from merchants. I think you can find some Gwent cards as well. I think I may have found a couple.
Yeah.
It's just I just have no real interest in it.
It's
not
cool,
that like it's like the actual concept of Gwent is actually really cool, and if it was like its own thing, I would probably play it. Like if it was a Hearthstone thing, I might actually get into it.
I bet that's coming.
But it's just one of those things where it's like as I'm playing the game, I'm far more immersed in everything else. And I'm like, no, I don't want to stop my immersion to play a card game with you, Mr. like fucking blacksmith guy. Leave me alone.
Someone will make an iPhone app that's a ripoff of Gwent called
They
Gent.
will.
No, I don't doubt it. I'm sure they're already
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not like an original thing where there aren't already concepts of it.
Sure.
In fact, I know I've played games that are similar, which is one of the reasons why I'm just like I'm not about to go play Gwent in Witcher 3. I totally can understand if there are people who are playing the game. It's like, man, I can't wait to find the next guy to play Gwent.
There's so much more interesting stuff to do in that world, though, for me. So.
For me as well, which is why I'm not like, man, I gotta go collect some cards and play some Gwent. Yeah.
It would be cool if CD Projekt Red just releases that as a standalone, like a free-to-play standalone, version of Gwent.
No, like I said,
telling you, that's gonna happen.
I'd play it. And maybe next time I play the game, because I'm obviously gonna play Witcher 3 more than once. I might go for collecting all the cards and trying to beat everyone in Gwent, because at that point, this time I'm not trying to 100% it, but I will eventually want to do a 100% run if it's possible.
Yeah, good times.
Cool.
So now let's switch our gears. So, guess what, you guys? Phil Spencer says that they're not abandoning the Kinect.
What?
But it
Crazy.
sure feels like it, doesn't it?
Hey. Yeah, this is kind of weird, honestly. Microsoft have
super
backpedaled pretty hard on Kinect, and the fact that Phil Spencer still says, yeah, it's a thing we're thinking about doing stuff with is...
It's a great part of the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's super weird, and it's got to be... My gut instinct is like, maybe they're doing something new with Kinect at E3, since that's not far off, and he's bringing this up now. Because, they got it away from the Xbox so people would actually buy the Xbox One. And I've never seen a Kinect that you can just buy by itself.
No.
I don't think they sell that yet.
No, I'm not sure they do.
And so it's super weird. Maybe that's all they're gonna announce at E3 is that, hey, you can just go buy the Kinect now, which might be a misstep. But
Hey man, Rare makes Kinect games.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah, well, the thing with Rare is Phil Spencer I can't remember how, maybe a month ago, said that he just went to see Rare's new game and he was like really excited about it. Like it's something that they're going to reveal at E3 probably, and he's...
Well, they have stated that Rare is going to bring back one of the old franchises.
Right, yes.
And I'm not... We talk about this at work all the time, trying to figure out what it is. My kind of guess is Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think a lot of people are speculating Battletoads because they keep inserting these references, and Phil Spencer wore a T-shirt.
A couple of people have been saying Battletoads, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But we pretty much have a pool going on right now. Someone already called Battletoads, and when that was gone, my immediate guess became Perfect Dark because it's not going to be Banjo-Kazooie.
No.
And
I mean, it would be crazy if it was Banjo-Kazooie, because then you have X-Rare going up against Rare with Yooka-laylee.
Yeah.
That would be a bloodbath.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah. But it totally could be. Who knows? And the thing is, a couple of the guys who now work at Playtonic know what Rare are working on, because they obviously kind of left there relatively recently. So I don't think it would be Banjo, because...
No, I would imagine not. I don't think they would want to compete with that. Even if they know they have a better game, they're not going to have a better marketing team.
Right, absolutely. So that is it's a thing.
But yeah, I mean, and it's not like Killer Instinct. It can't be Killer Instinct because it already came out.
No, that already came out.
So it's just like
can't be any Donkey Kong because Nintendo's IP. So
it's Cameo.
Yeah, let's bring that back.
I didn't hate the idea of Cameo. I just didn't think it was very good.
Well,
it was kind of cool, but what are you gonna do?
You know what it potentially could be though. Could be Conquer.
Could be. Probably won't.
Could it? Yes, it could. Yeah. Well, he was in what was it called? Project Spark?
Guys, it's gonna be Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run too.
Oh man.
Could you imagine if it's like GoldenEye and they bring that shit back? It's like
dude.
Whatever.
Well, Eurocom brought back GoldenEye a few years ago with the Wii game that came to 360 and PS3 a bit later.
Yeah.
But
maybe it's Wizards and Warriors.
Hey,
yeah, who knows? Who knows? Deep cuts there.
That would be really bringing the game back. Holy shit.
Yeah. But are we agreed that it's probably not going to be a Kinect game? That what Rare's working on?
I mean, It could just be a fucking sports title. Like,
yeah,
it could be
like
John
Ken
Elway's
Griffey
quarterback.
Jr. It's on the Kinect. Like,
the way they've been talking about it and the fact that Phil Spencer is like, yeah, I'm really excited about what the guys at Rare are working on. And, Phil has basically made a name for himself as being the guy who came in and turned around the ship for Xbox and just focusing on the games and making sure that the hardcore player is the one who is happy and is enjoying their experiences. And so I don't feel like he would make that kind of statement with the kind of notion of Kinect being involved at all. So
I mean, it could be. I mean, and with conjunction of this news story where the Kinect isn't abandoned, I mean, like, why are you coming out and saying that? Why are you making this news if there's not going to be anything surrounded by it? So it very well could be.
Well,
it could
Kinect
be like not like your
will be
typical Kinect
title,
game. Like,
I'm sure that there will be Kinect stuff. Let's be honest. Like, Just Dance there's going to be a new Just Dance.
Like, I wouldn't like, it won't be like Kinect Sports, like, but like maybe something cooler than that.
It's gonna be a fucking dancing game, alright? Just deal with it.
Alright.
Yeah. They sell
Kinect DDR. There you go. Prediction made.
Yeah.
I'd be okay. Like, well, I mean, let's be honest. All the dancing games are basically like new forms of DDR.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, you put a name on it, and people will look at it in a different way, maybe.
Yeah.
They go, oh, I know that name. Brands recognize brands, son.
Fizz, you don't have an Xbox One available anymore, do you?
No, I don't. My brother and nephew are all moved out, so I...
Did he have a Kinect with that? Did he get it at launch?
Yeah, and the only thing we really used the Kinect for was to flip it on and off, because he had a surround sound system hooked up to it too. So when he says like Xbox on, it flipped on the Xbox, the TV, and the surround system, and that was nice. Because I'm so stupid when it comes to sound systems that I can't figure it out. So like the Kinect doing it automatically for me was really nice.
That's good.
But like other than that, I mean, like, would you pay an extra
Xbox off and just in the middle of your show is off and you're just like, fuck you, man.
No, but because you have to like say okay or like hit okay to that.
Oh,
it doesn't just flip off.
That's no fun.
You go Xbox off and it goes, hey, do you really want to turn this off? And then you just go, no.
No, I like Xbox.
Yeah.
Don't go away.
But yeah, there's like I remember like when that first came out, there was a video series, like someone made their gamer tag Xbox off. And like,
wow.
They were playing Call of Duty and people would be like, dude, Xbox off! And then you'd be like, no! They're like people freaking out about it. It's so good. Like I watched I watched like a 15-minute video of people just like freaking out, like because they thought their Xbox was gonna turn off in mid-match. It's so good. And then like once they realized that like it didn't actually just like flip right off, like, dude, that's a good one, man. Like no one was like seriously mad. It was great.
There were also ads happening at that time with Xbox's marketing campaign where they were, advertising the voice control and they would say Xbox on in the video, and so people who had that on their TVs, their system would just start up out of nowhere just because they're watching the ad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other cool stuff that, like, eventually, like, a lot of it stopped working for us, too. Like, the Xbox On started getting really spotty, as well as did, like, turning it off, and there was a thing where, like, this is actually really spooky, and this is why, like, I didn't get one at launch, is because I didn't like the idea that, the Kinect always being on, and always listening. I also didn't like the idea of how good of a camera it was. Exactly. Because you can set it to recognize the player, and it will just flip to your game tag without choosing it.
Right, it can just look at you and be like,
yeah, it will just look at you and go, oh, this is Fizz, there you are, you're logged in.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's convenient, and also very fucking creepy.
So frightening.
Yeah. Oh man, but like, if I were making money right now, I'd probably get an Xbox One.
Why?
Honestly, it's honestly a toss up. I would consider very much a PS4.
There's no consideration. If I had the money, it's a PS4. Done.
Maybe PS4 edges it out because of Bloodborne, but I'm also a big Halo fan, so like, I would like to
Yeah.
play the new Halo when it comes out.
Really, Halo is the big thing because
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to end up coming to PC, at least like not for a long time.
Yeah.
It won't come to PC.
No. And
Like after Halo 1, none of them came to PC. Am I
Yeah.
wrong there?
I don't think so.
they did.
I think they all. I think you're right, actually.
So it's you don't put your biggest flagship for you as an exclusive, and port it over. Like it's just silly.
Right, but I mean, like,
when Dark Souls did it, it was interesting. But I mean, that wasn't a huge flagship at the time,
Right.
and it allowed a bunch of people to get more invested in the game. But then Bloodborne comes out, it's like, no, you gotta buy a PS4.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it was a dick move, but it was a smart move.
Fun fact about me and my Halo fanness. The last Halo that came out, I still haven't played the story because Nick wanted me to wait and play the story with him.
Oh no.
And Nick doesn't have internet.
Nick never got internet.
Hasn't had for like 5 years.
Yeah. So I sat and I waited and waited and waited. Like a good friend. So much a good friend. And I still haven't played the story to this day. I played some of the online, but like very little of it, and like, so maybe I'll go back to that eventually, because I think you said it's okay
similar to how our dinner plans went yesterday.
Yeah.
A bunch of us went to the restaurant first, and then our buddy Jason was coming after. And he showed up and we still hadn't ordered. He's like, oh, you guys waited for me? We're like, no, our service is just shitty. We're like, we've been ready to order for like 10 minutes. We've been trying to get her over here. She's not coming.
That's awesome. Except for I was being a good friend.
Yeah, look, we weren't. We were all fucking hungry too.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, Kinect is happening at E3.
Excitement. Much excitement.
Yeah.
No, well, I think
they do that a couple years ago. Where it was like everything was just Kinect stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
remember,
that was before the system.
Oh, God,
Well, yeah, that's
what
what I
was
mean.
it?
A couple years ago.
Like
Yeah,
PS3 storybook or whatever. Remember that
Wonder
fucking
Book.
shit? The Wonder Book.
Hey.
Man, I want a Wonder Book.
The amazing thing about that conference is it was going so well. Like, it was a fantastic conference.
and they're like, guys,
you just hit this wall and like for fucking 20 minutes. This Wonderbook garbage.
Look, man, the Wonder Book is wonderful. You don't even know.
No,
dude, have either of you ever touched a Wonderbook or played it or anything?
no, I would love to.
I'd
I
love
want
to give it a
to. I
shot.
totally would if I had the opportunity, but I don't want to buy one.
If someone gave me a Wonderbook for free, I'd play it for an hour at least.
Dude, if
Hell
someone
yeah.
gave me a Wonder Book for free, I would stop playing The Witcher and only use the Wonder Book. Like,
Oh man, that's amazing. So, before we move on with like the second half of the show, I'm gonna say let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with you. Yeah?
Sure
let me
thing.
guess, you have to pee.
So bad.
So do I.
Gamecast. Gamecast? Well, there's GameCube and then there's Dreamcast. What you thought?
Well, I said I got Gamecast, man. Damn, I can't afford it.
We're ready to start the second half of the show, and let's start off by talking about the Nintendo, the original Nintendo. The NES is turning 30 soon.
Happy birthday.
Yay! The original Nintendo is going to be in a video game museum or a gaming museum. It's all games, I think, called The Strong, and they're gonna have their own exhibit for the 30th birthday. It seems so cool that this place, and I've been in New York, and I'm wondering why the fuck did no one tell me about this?
Wait, it's in New York?
Yeah.
What?
The Strong is in New York. Oh god, it sounds like such a cool place to go.
So next time we go to New York, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, except
man.
for you, Nubs. You're not welcome.
I've been to New York before, I'll have you know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't, so...
I've been twice.
Okay.
When I was very young, I don't even remember it, and then one time when I was not, and it was all right. But there's going to be, in the exhibit, there's going to be previously unseen interviews with Masayuki Yumura and some NES games that'll be playable, including Super Mario and Duck Hunt, and I'm sure other great games. You know what would be great playable game in that exhibit? Fucking Track and Field.
Sure. Yeah.
Have you ever... Zed, do you know about Track and Field?
I've heard of it before. I've heard tell of Track and Field.
It is... Okay. Imagine a 8-bit game, right?
Yep.
And you have to plug in basically a Dance Dance Revolution floor. And...
What? What?
Well, I mean, you watched the World Championship like Redux video that Nintendo did, right? Like you saw Reggie on it.
Oh, so is that what that is? Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
I had no idea. Oh
Yeah,
my
often
God.
people would get off of it, and here I'll link it in my
They did the Reggie thing, and they just used
Yeah,
their
because
hand.
he was
Yeah.
using his hand to tap it. Oh my
Because
God.
that
and then
was
he looked at it, and then he looked
that was the
at it.
best
What?
and easiest way to do it. It was
Oh,
just to
wow.
like just pound on it. And
Shit, I had no idea this was a peripheral. That's crazy.
yes.
Wow.
We had one for a little while at least. I don't remember what happened to it, but I remember distinctly having one. Maybe we were borrowing it or something, but Track and Field, baby.
Boy.
Would love
Crazy.
to see that. Zed, you got some experience with the NES? Just Mega Man mostly, or
Yeah, really, it's through virtual console
yeah? Uh-oh.
emulation here and there, but mainly that. And a lot of those games I find hard to go back to, aside from the Mega Mans. But I have a huge appreciation for that time because that's it was the blueprint for everything that came after. So
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
Jake, fond NES memories?
So many.
Yeah? Tell me about them.
I had both Zeldas. I played the Ninja Turtles. I never had the
Which
freaking running
one?
pad.
Which Ninja Turtles?
Both of them.
They're, oh man.
I actually, as a child, beat the really hard one.
Bullshit.
The one- I did.
Bullshit.
I beat
You
it.
didn't get past the water level.
I got past the water level.
No one got past the water level.
I got past the water level.
I'm so... Oh, you're making my dick so hard. And said you don't know about true anguish.
You don't know about the real water levels, man.
Yeah.
Ocarina was
Clearly not.
easy.
Yeah.
Really not.
You think the Ocarina of Water Temple was shit? Fucking playing Ninja Turtles. So ridiculously such a hard game.
I never beat Battletoads. I did have that game.
I've got
I don't
pretty.
think anyone beat Battletoads.
I
though.
got pretty far in Battletoads
I
once.
have beaten Battletoads like as an adult, and I have a friend who in his he's got a medal for Mike Tyson's Punch Out because he set the world record way back in the day. It has since been broken, but he did hit the world record.
Jeez.
Obviously, I played Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Fuck the Sandman, just period.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Fuck Mr. Dream.
Yeah.
Well, I
Look,
think
I never even got to Mr. Dream, man.
Mr. Dream was when they couldn't use the Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
systems
yeah,
anymore. Yeah, stupid.
I think this museum thing is really cool though because
Yeah.
we are seeing video game companies like Konami in this day and age remove games from access to anyone, such as with PT, what happened there. I think it's very important that we have games accessible because things like that happening, they need to be available as a resource and to be archived. And I love what museums, like new museums, are starting to do now by including all this stuff, because otherwise we're going to lose it all, and it'll be up to hackers and emulators and people to figure all that stuff out. So yeah, it's really kind of a bad time right now with people's opinions on that.
Some libraries are putting video games into their library.
Yeah, that's been happening around here.
Yeah,
so.
I mean that's been happening a while, but I hope that becomes like a bigger thing because preservation of this stuff is going to be really important. Like,
Well, I mean, they only do like current gen stuff.
Yeah.
But,
I don't want to.
I do have one more NES memory I have to share.
Bring it.
Did you guys watch the JonTron episode of all the Barbie games?
No.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I had one of, because it was my sister's, but I had one of the ones for the NES, and my sister was in love with that game, and she forced me to play it, and to this day I still have no idea what the fuck was going on.
Wow.
All right.
That's bad. Well, I mean, I played Mary Kate and Ashley's horse riding adventures on PS1, so I don't have a leg to stand on really. In that case.
Look, man, you had 4 legs to stand on. You were on a horse.
That's true. Very true. Very true.
Isn't that like one of your like most successful franchises? Like, isn't that one of the few LPs you've actually finished?
Wow. Digging deep. No, it wasn't really an LP anyway. It was really, I recorded like half an hour of footage and then broke it into 10-minute parts, and me and Nick just bullshitted over it. So
Yeah.
it was fun times.
I think I watched all of that.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Mary Kate and Ashley's Horse Riding Adventure.
Special game.
Yeah, I'm sure will hold a place in your heart forever and ever and ever and ever.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I wanted to get back to Battletoads because I was playing it on an emulator a while ago, and I accidentally hit a warp. I was so happy. Well, I don't know if you've ever played it, Zed, but there's this part where you get on these speeders and you have to.
Yeah, I've
dodge-
seen this.
Yeah, you dodge the walls, and you jump over some of them, and you have to hit the ramps at a certain time.
Fuck that.
There is one wall that is a warp that like sends you to like fucking like level 10 or whatever.
Oh, geez.
Like one of the final, like almost the final level. And I was playing it, and I was all, and I jumped, and I hit it, and I was like, no! And I was like, wait, what the? Look how far I am! I'm so far in this game. I am a god. Because I've never beat that level.
That was his first time he ever speedrun everything.
Oh man, it was
Crazy.
insane. But like and then I played the couple levels after that, and I was like, I can't. It's still way too hard. I just thought maybe this was the only really hard level, but no, it's not.
The whole game is challenging.
You have to like go through pipes, and you can't really control where you're going or something.
Yep.
I hardly remember, but it was that and Ninja Turtles are like the worst, hardest games in the world. I'd love to go back and play Ninja Turtles again and see if it's still hard to me, and I'm sure
No,
it
it's
will be.
definitely still
Yeah.
friggin' hard.
But like they had some great games, like the Mega Mans. I love the original Zelda, and they had some stinkers too. Like
They had, but I mean, when you have a library that big,
It's so
you're
big.
bound to have some good games and some bad games.
my favorite thing to do now is just like not even pick a game. I just go through my library randomly, and I just pull something out, and I go, sweet, never played this before, let's try it out for a while. Because like the library is so big where you can just do that. It's great. It's always
speaking
worth
of the
time.
NES, I have to ask.
Yeah.
Have you watched any more of the Game Chasers?
I watched just the episodes I told you about, but I plan
Okay.
on going back. It's very cool.
I love that series.
Yeah, I really like it actually. It's like everything I want in a TV show, pretty much. It's
Yeah,
like Storage Wars, but almost as good. Oh, goodness sake. So, yes, the NES is going to be in that museum, have an exhibit, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but it has... Okay. It's starting a video game Hall of Fame in that museum, the Strong. And I really want to talk about it next week, but I just want to tell you, I think it just started this year, and they have their finalists for who might go into the Hall of Fame.
So not all 15 are going in. Those are just finalists, right?
Yeah, this is just the finalists. And
Okay.
it actually is it's in June, where they will actually announce who's getting inducted. But I'm gonna go down the list of the finalists because I find this very interesting.
Yeah.
Angry Birds,
No.
Doom,
Yes.
FIFA for the Master System,
Yes.
the original Zelda,
Yes.
Minecraft, Oregon Trail,
I want to say no, but Minecraft will do it. Oregon Trail should.
Pac-Man,
Oh, fuck yeah.
Pokemon,
Fuck yeah.
Pong,
Maybe.
The Sims,
I would say no.
Sonic the Hedgehog,
Absolutely.
Space Invaders,
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros.,
Hands down. First ballot Hall of Fame.
Tetris.
That one I would say definitely.
Yeah, I mean that if anything's a first ballot Hall of Famer, I believe it's Tetris.
Well, I mean, if
Tetris and Mario for sure.
yeah, for sure.
And then
Those two
the
are,
last-
are the goes.
The last one is World of Warcraft.
Absolutely. Hands
I mean,
down.
this is quite the
I
list.
think that is the number 3 game on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've basically nailed it, aside from Angry Birds, which I feel is there for tokenism in terms of, hey, mobile games have done well, this is a mobile game.
I understand how Angry Birds can be put on that list, because
yeah,
if you
absolutely.
look at it as a franchise, there's so much fucking merchandise and so much like
It
side
got so
versions
big
of the
so
game.
fast.
They have so much money out of it. But I don't know how many of them. Do we know how many of them are getting in?
I
I don't know.
No, it doesn't. It does not say. So
I'd have to actually look at
Add
the list
that,
and
maybe?
determine my own rankings, and then figure out who I would put in.
if anyone at home wants to do that and email us, you can. There's
Yeah,
a link for it in the
absolutely.
chat right now. But yeah, it's very interesting. I think this is so cool. Like I can't wait for years to come. Like if this is streamed, I'll watch the crap out of it.
If I'm not working, I will.
Yeah.
Actually, no. If it's streamed, it'll be streamed at work.
Yeah, exactly. It just seems so cool. I
It
think
seems
a lot
like
of those
all
are
these
really
games-
good choices. Everything makes sense on that list.
They're all like revolutionary in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, they all kind of were the first to do the thing they did in most
And it
cases.
really just boils down, if it's only going to be X number, it becomes which of those 15 deserves to be in X number.
Yeah.
And obviously, Tetris and Mario Brothers, I would say for sure deserve to be.
Those should be locks. Yeah.
I would then say World of Warcraft,
hmm
and
I feel like Pong has to go.
I feel like Pong. I don't know if I'd
Pac-Man
put-
as well. Pong and Pac-Man.
I
are
would
both.
say World of Warcraft and Pac-Man would be
Yeah.
the second cluster of 2, and then I would go Pong and FIFA is in my third group.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Just because of how big FIFA has become.
Sure. I mean, it's just it's so cool.
Actually, no, I take that back. I would put Zelda in the third group over FIFA.
I mean, next week I really want to dive into this, and we can bring in titles that maybe didn't get nominated. And
Yeah.
I mean, Zed and I were talking about that before the show. It's something that requires a bit more time, but I think that it's going to be a worthwhile discussion next week.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
But yeah. Oh, and they have a criteria as well.
Oh, what's the criteria?
Let me tell you. Icon status. The game is widely recognized and remembered. Longevity. The game is more than a passing fad and has enjoyed popularity over time. Geographical reach. The game meets the above criteria across international boundaries. And influence. The game has exerted significant influence on the design and development of other games and other forms of entertainment, or on popular culture and society in general. A game may be inducted on the basis of this criterion without necessarily having met all of the first 3. So if
Okay.
something has massive influence,
Which is how Angry Birds got in.
exactly.
Right, that's what I was going to say, because longevity-wise, fuck no, that thing fell off a cliff.
It came out in 2009, but I mean, look at all the influence it had since
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
It's
Like, I mean, it
short 6
basically
years.
It kickstarted the entire mobile game development scene in many ways.
Right.
So,
I still wouldn't put it above a lot of the games on that list.
No.
But will it be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Like, I would be upset if that became a first ballot video game Hall of Famer over a lot of the games on that list.
It's
Yeah.
funny
Like,
because
that is 15th on that list for me,
It's
and that's
funny
not just
'cause,
because I'm not a mobile gamer.
we're referencing like how sports Hall of Fames works when we mention first ballot Hall of Fame, because there's like this second level of Hall of Fame people.
Well, like the first ballot just means you get it the first
Yeah.
time you've been nominated.
Right, but
there are plenty of people in sports who should be in the Hall of Fame and haven't gotten the nod yet.
right. Well, I mean, like what happens in like voting? Like I don't know if this is happens in where you are, MBZ, but like
No,
in
they
America, say
they
like
just elect
take baseball for
fascists.
example.
Yeah.
Like, if someone is good and they think they should be in a Hall of Fame, but maybe they're not as good as some of the other people, there's not a limited number of votes they can make to vote people in, but they will simply not vote someone in, so they keep it a low number and more focused.
Oh, okay.
So, like, if someone's great, but they're fucking not as great as, like, these other three, and they know they're going in the Hall of Fame, they'll not vote for them, and it's a very weird system how they do things, and I'm curious to see if that's how they're going to treat it as well for the video game.
Yeah, well, we don't know how many are getting through. If it's
Right.
one, and they're just going to do one of those, then that's kind of,
There's no way it'll just be one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
assume there will be some sort of voting situation like how they do for baseball and football, where there's...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like with the
I-
Rock and
I
Roll
would
Hall of
imagine
Fame or
it-
whatever, it's only one a year, so...
Yeah. But I mean,
Sorry, what's only one a year?
the Rock
With the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, like if you look at say the NFL, it's usually how many is it, Mike? Is it
3, 4,
I think it's 5.
maybe 5.
Yeah, like it's. I would imagine it's going to, especially when you have a list of 15. It won't be one.
I think what they may do is because this is the first year, right, they're probably going to do a good batch just to
Yeah,
induct
I
straight
would
in.
imagine.
And
I
then
would
maybe in
imagine
oncoming
mine's
years, they'll
10.
just do one.
Yeah.
Um,
I think if I were to guess, because how it works in the American sports system is like writers and news people who work in sports get a vote, and specific ones, and they may be doing the same thing here. And if it reaches a certain percentage, then it gets through. And that's how I would imagine they would do something like this, unless it's some sort of small committee.
I figured it'd be a committee, but that committee would still be made up of people that matter.
Yeah. But I mean, that way you can't do like a percentage thing, really, because then it's like, I mean, the difference between like if you have like a 10-person committee, the difference between like 70% and 80% is like one person.
Yeah.
Well, then, I don't think it'd be like a percentage thing, but if it's a committee, it would be a group decision of which games deserve to be on. Like, they'd have to reach a consensus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting though. We'll talk more about the Hall of Fame next week. Yeah. And last week, Jake posed an interesting question when we were talking about special editions. Was there a special edition of a game that you decided, nah, not right now, but later down the road, you said, man, I fucking wish I got that. So, Jake, your question. I'll let you start it off.
I answered this last week.
Did you?
I was the one. I
Remind
said
us.
Ni no Kuni.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
What did the special edition come with?
It came with a plush of. I haven't played the game yet, so I don't remember the character's name.
Drippy!
Yeah, him.
High Lord of the High Fairies!
I don't actually remember what else it came with. It was just I loved the box. The plush was cool, and I think it came with like the soundtrack, or like there was a book of some sort, I think, as well. I'd have to look it up, but it was especially for the price that it was. It wasn't that much more expensive than the actual game, and it was like I really wanted that game, and I just missed out on it. And it's actually a game that I still have not purchased or played, and I really want to.
Well, I think what happened with the book was it was all the spells in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could scroll through and see like how you cast them and stuff. So it was like this really cool special edition, and it's also funny that they did include a plush of Drippy because he is basically a stuffed toy at the start of that game. So it's nice theming that they just like basically give you the stuffed toy that he has in the game, which is awesome. For me, I was thinking about it, and there aren't a huge amount of special editions that I really wanted to go after because a lot of the time they come with things that I don't really care about. Like, there are a lot of art book special editions or like steel book cases, which is it's nice,
Strips.
but it's nice, but it's not really meaningful to me. And so I was thinking, like, when's the last time there was kind of a special edition that I would have loved to own because there was like significant content I'd be missing out on, and not in terms of DLC or anything, but when they released Wind Waker, they did a special edition of that on GameCube, which came with a special disc that had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on it. I believe it had the original Zelda 1 and 2 as well. It was a really crazy,
fucking insane.
Yeah,
it was
crazy.
Wasn't it like the Master Edition or whatever it was called?
Yes, a limited edition, Master Edition. I can't quite remember. But at the time, I wasn't hugely into Zelda. I hadn't actually played a Zelda game at that point.
Wow.
But my friend Bally, he actually picked up this version, and so if I wanted to, I could borrow the second disc from him. I just think it's so cool that they actually gave you a way of playing those two N64 games during the GameCube era when, at that point the Virtual Console hadn't been established, but people didn't necessarily want to go back and play on their N64s. That's a great disc, and it's really rare, and it's one that if you have nowadays, you can get pretty good price for it, I imagine.
It's not actually that bad.
Is it not?
I think the last time I saw one get sold, it was for about 100.
Okay.
And that's well worth it, honestly.
Yeah.
I wonder what it launched at. Probably not much more than 100. Or not much less, I mean.
Yeah, like it's not terribly hard to come by, I don't think. It's just the people who have it don't really want to give it up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why the fuck would you?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. That was a meaningful special edition that had extra stuff that I wanted. Yeah,
You didn't know you wanted it at the time.
I didn't know I wanted it back then. Unfortunate as that may be.
For myself, it would have. Like, I'm like you, like where I really don't care about much that comes in.
Yeah, I'm usually the same way.
Yeah, but I was looking. I actually, after you asked and after that show, I actually went and like Googled and I was like looking at like special editions and stuff, and I was like, oh fuck, man, I do wish I had that. It was, and it's the Halo 3 Legendary Edition, and it came
Didn't
with.
that one come with the mask?
And it came with a whole bunch of shit I don't care about, and then it came with Master Chief's helmet.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Which I had.
I remember when that came out because I went with my best friend at the time to pick it up, and that one has a special place to me. Not because I was a big Halo fan, but shortly after we picked it up, he passed away. So if like I would love to pick it up, but at the same time, it's like if I was gonna get it, I would kind of want to just have his. But
yeah,
that would be another one that hits that list.
Definitely. Someone just mentioned like one of the Batman games because one of them came with like a Batarang. Like,
right, yeah.
That'd be fucking cool to have. Like that was
like there are some fucking crazy Call of Duty special editions that come with like the RC car or whatever, and then like the crazy night vision goggles and shit. Like all that stuff's cool, but
there are some pretty cool like collector's editions.
Yeah.
If I ever find one now that I look at it, and even if I'm contemplating it, I think I'll pick it up. Because if anything, they just hold their breath. Actually, no, I think there's one more that I wish I got.
Lay it on me.
Fucking Smash Bros. For Wii U, because those are a pain in the ass.
I
wish I got that
as well. Yep, pre-ordered it. Fucking nothing showed up. Thanks Amazon. Thanks Nintendo. You pieces of shit.
Apparently, the EB at the mall had one special edition sitting there, and I was like, oh man, if I didn't already just buy the game, I would totally go buy it. I don't really need another GameCube controller, and if I do buy one, I want one of the white ones. And honestly, now my buddy's just going to order me the Mayflash, the third-party adapter. He's going to do that for me today.
Nice.
And it's like $30, so it's not like I have to wait for the official Nintendo one, because this one works just as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of third-party ones going around, and really, it's Nintendo who are hurting for doing this. They need to fucking, understand that the market wants this shit, and they clearly thought it's going to be a niche item. Not many people are demanding it, and third parties are sweeping in there and taking all their cash with these adapters.
I'm going to bring this up because I'm going to bring this up because it's relevant to this discussion. Tweets came out today that stated that EVO, one of arguably the biggest fighting tournament of the year, both Smash Bros. Melee and Smash Bros. For Wii U have eclipsed 1,500 entrants, with 7 weeks left to play. First of all, Apex had 1,000 in Melee, and it was definitely less than that for Smash 4. You now have a combined 3,000. I mean, obviously a lot of these people are going to be across both games, but you have 3,000 entrants between two games for a game that was never meant to be a competitive. Like, the Smash community is fantastic, and I would never have guessed that Smash 4, especially with customs, which is such a huge controversial point in our community, with that being enabled at EVO, I was never expecting it to hit 1,500. I was definitely expecting Melee to hit 1,500. In fact, I would not be surprised if that gets close to 2,000 by the time signups end. But holy crap, that's nuts, and that just goes to show you needed to supply more adapters, because right now Mayflash is making money.
Yeah.
And I love them for it, because every Sunday I go to Smash tournaments, and our venue uses a lot of third-party adapters, because obviously not everyone has a official one, and the Mayflash one is perfect. There's not a single problem with it, and it comes out at a price point that was comparable to Nintendo's, and obviously now it's a hell of a lot cheaper because there are no Nintendo adapters, and people still think they can sell them for huge amounts of profit, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to where Emily was awake when they announced that they were putting more on sale, and she bought one for me. And
Emily's always awake, though.
I know. Yeah.
Nocturnal.
She doesn't sleep.
She just sleeps during the day when nothing important happens.
Yeah, I mean, she's really got it down. But yeah, so I'm lucky enough to have one. But it really forced me to not play Smash for a while, because playing like this, I was not having a good time.
Well, that's how I have to play right now. I don't like I've mentioned before, I don't like the Wii U Pro controller very much.
Yeah.
And I don't, because I play at tournaments with the GameCube controller, I really didn't want to get a Pro and then have split my practice up. And unfortunately, I have to do that with the gamepad. But thankfully, it's just a lot of it just comes down to muscle memory. And I did play Melee for such a long time that it's not a huge deal.
I was really afraid of that, honestly, because I couldn't get an adapter. I had no idea what to do, and I have
plenty of friends who. I imagine neither of you have seen the Smash documentary, but there is a.
I have seen it, yes.
Okay, so you know what the phrase "no Johns" means.
Oh yes, everyone knows about No Johns.
Oh well, a lot of people don't. I guess because Reggie did it at the Invitational.
No Johns means don't complain.
People make Johns for me when I don't perform as well at tournaments as I could, because I have to go between two controllers. I'm it's not really an excuse. I don't make it. Don't make excuses for me. But hopefully, because I am getting the adapter, I can get more proper practice in, and that'll be nice, especially because I am going to EVO, and I really don't want to go to a gigantic tournament and then not perform at my best.
Nice. Where is EVO?
Vegas, baby.
Oh, damn.
Maybe I'll show up. Maybe Big Daddy will come down to Vegas.
Roll
hang
in.
out.
I don't even it's because it's in Vegas. I don't care if I get eliminated from EVO early. But I I mean, I don't think I'll have much money to gamble if I go. I really just want to go to play Smash and hang out with a lot of Smashers from all over
Sure.
the world, because I know there are a lot of people from Japan coming too. And I'll get to hopefully see some of my idols from the Melee scene.
I want to meet Prague and remind him how he said that he can't.
He will
he can't
be there.
keep up with
he
me.
will definitely be there. I love Prague. Prague's a great guy.
I don't know. Zed, did you ever see the video I did for Ferris?
Which one
The
specifically?
I narrated a Smash video for him.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah,
And
you
it
did.
was ridiculous. He posted it on Reddit in Prague, who's like one of like the more famous announcers.
Yeah, I know Prague. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all. This is why I'm gonna quit. Like I can't keep up with this guy. Like he's too good.
Yeah, Prague.
That's
Prague
awesome.
after, I believe it was last Evo, kind of was taking a step back from Smash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was just around the same time that Mike put this out, and I think Ferris or Nick put it on Reddit,
Ferris.
and Prague commented, and he's like, "This is why I'm leaving the scene. I just can't do it."
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's so good.
Yeah. One of my prouder moments. As soon as I learned who he was, I was like, hell yeah.
That's great.
I'm really hoping to meet Prague and D1, and then obviously like big players. For whatever reason, like I'll meet up with Mango. His girlfriend and I talk on Twitter all the time, and that'll be cool to actually like meet up with her. Obviously, I want to meet like my favorite players, which are PPMD and Armada. And I want to get a selfie with Leffen because there was just an Australian tournament the other day, and he made the excuse that he got sick because he was taking too many selfies with people, and that affected his performance.
Wow.
And that is the
Wow.
single greatest John I've
Talk about
ever
no
heard.
Johns.
Honestly, though, but like, this, it's probably a fair complaint. I mean, think about it. Like, if you're, like, this, like, face to face with so many people, because you gotta get close together to take a selfie.
It's just, okay, regardless of whether or not that's legitimate, you don't say that. Like, especially in a community that hammers no Johns all the time. But, just, friggin' wow. I got sick from taking selfies. I can't perform
That's
as well. They were
That's
making
so
fun
good.
of him on it. On this, like, friggin', I tried to stay up and finish that stream because it was like 3 a.m. Because obviously it was being done in Australia, and I passed out during like losers semifinals, and I had to check it up on Reddit afterwards.
Yeah,
But
that's what happened to me during Apex, because it's...
Apex was a really weird weekend for me. Like, my sleep schedule was so messed up. I like passed out for like an hour here and there, but I was always up to watch all the games that I wanted to watch.
Yeah, I missed the money match, the Left and Mango game.
Oh
So
my
I had to
god!
watch that the day after, and
There's
that was...
the Left and Mango game was hype. The Left and Chillin' game was
Oh boy,
hilarious.
that thing is so sad to watch. Oh,
The best part about that is one of the guys in our community. His name's Dawson. His tag is Big D. He was at a tournament a couple of weeks ago, and they played Project M. And grand finals was him versus Chillin' Dude. And he was in winner side, Chillin' was in losers because he won the first set. And Chillin' lost a game he had to get up and do something, whether it was get a drink or whatever. And Dawson changed his tag to My B, and then went right back to stage select screen, so he didn't know. And you just saw Chillin's face when like the game started, and he took it really well, and I think it actually ended up powering up to win that set and win the tournament. But my buddy and I were watching this at work because we had our local tournament that day, and we were crying. We were laughing so hard. It was so funny.
oh boy,
It's a good time.
it was special,
Man.
very special.
What, all I remember from, I assume it's Evo, was like one game some dude got rested on like 3 times in a row.
Well, okay. That's Hungrybox in general. He's like
There
the
it
only
is, yeah.
known
He
puff player.
reps fucking everywhere.
Oh, I
And
think it was against. It might have been against Mewtwo King.
It's probably like if you watch Hungrybox play, most of his kills will come from rests because they're not that hard to land in melee. But he might be like the most hated on guy in the community.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like him.
I cannot stand Hungrybox. Mostly because he's a puff player and he's an asshole. But he's not he's not an asshole for playing puff. He's just actually an asshole.
Sure.
But I don't know. Just everything about him just gets under my skin, and it's always nice. He's one of the few people I will always root against.
Yeah, it's good to have a heel. It's like some wrestling lingo for you guys. We have one question this week in the emails. Let me bring it up here.
Where can you send those emails to if you want to be read on the show?
Well, you can send them to yogamecast@gmail.com. If you're watching the video of this, it's in the lower left-hand corner, so you can see it there. Otherwise, it's just yogamecast, all one word, @gmail.com. It's the name of the show, @gmail. So, we got another email from our friend of the show, Sullivan. Title. I like the title of this email, so I'm going to read it. It's called A Tribe Called Quest, and then in parentheses, Shun. It's a hip-hop reference for all you who don't know. Anyway, Sullivan says, hey guys, it's me again. Because it seems like every podcast MBZ touches, it has a mail drought. Yeah, I blame it on MBZ too.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Uh-huh.
I recently completed Shadow of Colossus precursor. Is it Ico?
Eco?
Yeah, I think it's Ico, but
All right, it's Ico.
that's just how we pronounce it here. It could actually
Yeah.
be something else.
Yeah.
And have no idea how to feel about it. Have you gentlemen ever had a similar experience about another game? Thank you, and have a wonderful day. So.
Okay, first of all, I don't know how you don't know how to feel about it. Ico is a beautiful game.
Was there something weird that happened that just leaves you feeling different? Not kind of weird? Unsure. Maybe it didn't happen as you thought. I don't know. I never played it.
I loved that game. There was nothing about it that made me not happy with it. But for me, I asked for the question earlier today, and I needed some time to think about it. And I think the game that comes to mind for me is a game called White Knight Chronicles that was on the PlayStation 3. And for all intents and purposes, this game was not very good. And I don't know why I liked it as much as I did. Plot-wise, it is the most basic plot line ever. Princess gets rescued by a group of, evil cultist people, and you have to go save them. And in the end, you also find out that you now have the ability to save the world.
Sure.
Pretty much overdone.
Yeah.
And it's not like the gameplay was kind of cool because it was an RPG with this weird pseudo active / turn-based combat system. And you actually got to make your own all your own moves, and as you leveled up, you unlocked new moves, and it was based on whichever weapon that you were using. So you get your own avatar. To be honest, I never actually used my own personal avatar for that game, mostly because they didn't talk. And you can most characters can fill all sorts of different roles. And then basically, so if you want your dude to be a tank, but also have the ability to heal all your party members or cast fucking fire abilities, boom, done, no problem, just level up certain things. And I don't know, I played through that game and I finished it. I'm like, why do I like this game so much? And even to this day, I actually still want to play the second one, and apparently the second one includes the first game. I found that it ended really abruptly. There was still, I think I played it for 15 hours or something was how much I did. I didn't do all all the side quests or anything like that. I don't think I really did any of them. And I got to the end, and I'm like, oh, this is the end? Because it kind of is only half the story. And the game continues in with the sequel, and I guess that's why they included the first game in the second. But it's like, well, if it's only half the game, why are we not finishing it? Like, the way that they forced it to end, like, you could... it just seemed like a forced ending, but as you played it... Huh?
So go ahead and spoil it.
Well, it's basically you catch up with the bad guys and you save the princess, and the last fight is like you fighting like the leader of the cultists, but at the end of then there's like this whole twist that this whole time there's like this other huge friggin' plot point that's going on that's for the second game, and it was like a character that showed up randomly throughout the game in cutscenes, and apparently he was just manipulating everything. Sure. And you get to the end, it's like, oh, well, I guess it's the end. Like, it just seemed forced. And I mean, there is some cool stuff about that game. Like, you basically get to transform into a giant knight. It's basically a medieval mech suit.
Hell yeah!
And, yeah, like, it's actually kind of cool. But
sounds great.
It's just one of those games that, for all intents and purposes, it's not a good game, but I absolutely loved it.
I was just reminded about a game that I kind of put out of my memory, and it's funny because it only happened months ago, and that game would be Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the thing. This was, on the surface, this was a fun game, which you don't.
I had a lot of fun with. Like, I'll be honest, I pirated that game, and I didn't get to play it very much because it did encounter problems, which is one of the reasons why I don't pirate games. And that's a game I actually want to go and buy. So
I would advise against it.
Why?
Okay,
I had so much fun.
Alright, on the surface, it's a fun game. It's a cool story. You don't get this from a Dragon Ball game often, or almost.
See, I wasn't a huge fan of the story. I just liked the gameplay.
Okay, well, here's the thing, is that, like, there are certain skills that, like, feel very necessary to kind of progress at a normal rate, okay? Now, the thing is, let's say, on a specific level, you can unlock Super Saiyan if you're a Saiyan, right? It's an item drop, and you have to equip it. You have to do a certain sequence of events, and in a specific order. So you have to, like, kill, like, the first guys, and then the second guys, and then it's Goku. You have to leave him for last, and you can't let Frieza die. And you have to kill Krillin right before you fight Goku. And maybe that triggers a random event where Goku goes Super Saiyan. Once that happens, you have to keep Frieza alive and then beat Goku while he's Super Saiyan. Now, maybe, once you do that, you get an item drop that says Super Saiyan. But maybe you don't.
Oh no!
So you have to go through this really complex sequence of events to trigger a special event, and that special event might not even happen. So, like, you're going through, like, it's like grinding levels on a ridiculous scale. Like, because you're hoping for a random item drop that may never happen, but you have to trigger
Oh, that sounds like the Destiny problem.
You have to trigger an event to make it happen, though. And the event is also a random occurrence, so, like, if you do everything right, you don't get rewarded.
Well, again, it's like the Destiny thing. There were so many problems with that game where you could go through a raid and get nothing.
Yeah.
And that's hours of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played Destiny, I just assume so, because that's generally what it is in most MMOs.
So that's my problem with DBZ. And, like, one guy I follow on Twitter, and I've known from other avenues, is Chris, and he would tweet about it constantly. He's like, why won't you just let this game be fun? Like, because it turns such a fun idea, gameplay and everything, into this just grind that's not fun at all because of all these specific things that you have to make happen and hope that they just work. Like, it is just... I mean, you could still move on in the story, but then you have to grind extra levels to kind of compensate. So it's like, do you want this ability, or do you just want to grind super much, and then maybe you can reach a level where it's fun to play?
See, for me, I played as a human, so I didn't have that problem.
Okay, but like substitute that out for like Kaioken 10. Like, it's like the same sort of problem. Like certain items.
For me, I just enjoyed the actual game. Like, hearing this, it definitely makes me not want to go buy the game.
Yeah.
But it was a game that when I played it, I enjoyed the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, this seems like something I would definitely buy. And then obviously they're always adding stuff right now. They added a bunch of content from the movie.
That's cool.
If like the show comes out relatively soon, they'll probably start to add stuff from the show and kind of keep the lifespan going of it. But if like it's that bad, maybe I'll rethink things.
I mean, maybe they've fixed it since then. Their network was also really bad. Like they had server issues. You had to flip off your internet connection on your actual console or whatever you were playing on. Otherwise, if you didn't, even if you chose offline play, if the server disconnected, it would drop you from whatever you're doing and put you back at like the title screen. So like it had all these like these huge problems, like, but the gameplay itself was fun, and it was just really hard to even it out. And for me, it was just like wasn't worth it anymore. It was like I've been so traumatized by this game that I can't go back. I can't put it back in.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, it seems like there aren't many great DBZ games that come out.
There are not.
Yeah, so...
I had a lot
this
of...
one did seem like...
Budokai Tenkaichi 3?
I had a lot of fun with Budokai Tenkaichi 2 for the Wii, because I had a lot of fun doing this. Wiggle.
Oh, was it 2? I know there was the one that was put on the Wii.
3 came out for it too, and it was supposed to be really good, but I never got it.
Was I think it might be 3. It's on my other laptop. I think it was 3, because wasn't 3 the one that had like every character across every series?
Yeah, 2 had a lot of characters and like a lot, and 3 upped it quite a bit too. So 3 is probably the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, I was playing through that one on Dolphin, and I was having so much fun with it. Like, that one's a good Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, I mean, it's very few and far between. I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, and it was a good, fun game. It just, the other problems just were not there. Sullivan's in our chat, and he just said, RNG Jesus has to be on your side in Xenoverse, and if he's just not, or like, just normal, it's just, it's awful.
Sucks.
Yeah, but, you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'd like to see
Played about
another
it
go
podcast.
of that game. Like, if a Xenoverse 2 comes out and maybe they approve on that, maybe I'll give that a go also, because the game was good and fun. So, I don't know. MBZ, you got a game that gives you weird feelings inside?
So, I was thinking, and probably since... So here's the thing. When I started listening to podcasts and like doing them of my own and kind of thinking about games critically, I haven't had any moments of I don't know how to feel, because I always have an opinion one way or the other. You know, I always have feelings on any kind of game. So it would have to be something from when I was younger, and I don't know, nothing was really coming up to mind, because even when I think back on those games now, we have
opinions on the games
Right.
that we think. Is there any game that you played that, say, your opinion varied from most people?
There you go.
Like, did you play Sonic 06 and have a great time? I mean, to be fair,
not quite.
here's the thing with Sonic 06. It is if you take out, like, all of its bugs are hilarious. It's not Sonic Boom style where it's just bad. The actual game itself is not bad. You just have to deal with a lot of jank and weird bestiality stuff. But the game itself,
Right up my alley, baby.
Yeah, if that game had no bugs, it would not have been a game people consider a bad game. It was literally just the fact that it was an incomplete game that was not bug tested that I think made it out to be what it was.
Don't you think it's weird that Sonic keeps doing that?
I wouldn't say keeps doing it because there was Sonic Generations, which was a great game.
Sure.
Sonic Generations is fantastic. That game is great.
It's just weird that like they've released more than one game that has just been so insane.
They just don't care anymore.
Clearly, because they have the
and
furry
it's sad
fan base behind them.
because it's just so sad. I think it was like the Dreamcast falling under is probably the spark that made them not really want to do much. And that's sad because I mean I still love the Dreamcast to this day. It had fantastic games, but yeah, man, poor Sega. That's depressing. Especially because I had a Genesis growing up. That was my console, and I loved it to death. I still do, and it's just, man, why'd it have to go that way?
Well, Dreamcast didn't work out. It's too ahead of its time. People didn't get it. It's a bummer.
I think I have a game that I'm ambivalent about in the sense that I kind of know how to feel about it, but it's like the kind of baseline of an average game, and that is New Super Mario Bros. 2. So the thing with this is it's fundamentally a good game. You know, it has good levels that are ostensibly pretty fun, but it just lacks soul. You know, it lacks any kind of personality. Yeah, it's the one with all the coins, because, you know, collecting coins is a great mechanic in a video game, and they're still meaningless. But the problem I have with that series in general is just the lack of personality that it has. Every game uses the same music, the same art assets. It doesn't look that good anymore. And that was just like, it's something that really pushed me over the edge when it came to that series. Was like, I can't take this anymore because it's just the same stuff, and it really just felt like a DLC level pack without any kind of new interesting thing thrown in there, and yet they sold it as a full price retail game.
My girlfriend had that game, and I borrowed it for when I hurt my back and I couldn't move. And so I played it, and I was like, alright, it's World 2, I have like 54 lives. Why this isn't fun for me at all. Like, I just feel like I'm just going through the motions until I beat Mario, and there's no real challenge or anything about it.
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I felt I was just going through the motions to just finish the game, and there wasn't any satisfaction from it. There was no joy. Yeah. I just felt so hollow inside after playing it. Despite the fact that you collect a bajillion coins.
Mario.
It really is, yeah. Tell you what.
Yeah, it just... Yeah, but I totally agree with you, and I was tweeting about it when I was playing it, because I was just tearing into it. I was like, this game fucking sucks, it's so shitty, like what am I even doing playing it? And
but I'm not sure that it does suck, though, because I think the levels are well designed. It's just... They're so by the numbers. They're so by the numbers.
My girlfriend was trying to explain it to me, and it makes sense maybe if we're not 20-plus-year-olds.
Yeah.
Where she's like, the fun part of it is all of the gold. It's like the fun part is the coins. It's like the gold. Like, don't you turn into like a gold Mario or something too, or something? I don't know. But she was like telling me like that's the fun part. It's like, that's why it's different. And I was like, it's not for me. This game wasn't made for everyone. This game was panded to children for it, which is fine because it's Mario and that's their target audience, and that's fine. But like, it's so one-dimensional of a game, and I get what you're saying. Like, level design, it's on par with every other Mario game. It just didn't have a soul to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. It makes us feel weird.
Very weird.
Weird and fuzzy and awkward.
Oh.
So I think that's gonna be it for the show. It's been a good show. It's been a fun show. If you guys want to send in viewer questions, we could always use them. I love viewer questions. You can hit up that email in the lower left-hand corner, as I said before. It is yogamecast@gmail.com. I will always post it on Twitter when we're about to go live that day. I'm always advertising the podcast on my Twitter at YoFizzYT. You can find my YouTube at /YoFizz. We got on the right of me, Jake at Enigma SSB. And he loves Smash Brothers and Witcher.
Smash Brothers, Witcher, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And then we got.
I'm like during this last little portion, like people have been messaging me. My workplace is hosting a big Smash Brothers tournament on the weekend, and they're trying to get like main stage to do money matches, and they're like, "Jake, make it happen." I'm like, "Look, I don't have power over that."
Like, who do you think I am? Like, maybe you can leverage a raise out of it.
If I beat my boss in Street Fighter 4 and he uses Oni and I win, like I think it's first to 5, he'll give me a raise.
Hey, there you
but
go.
I don't play Street Fighter and I don't
You
fight
better
stick.
learn. You better
Look,
learn,
man,
son.
I'm gonna do it the easy way, which is after 3 months I do a meeting, and if I do well, I'll actually get a better raise than if I beat him, because it's not like he'll give me $1. He'll give me like 10 cents.
Hey man, a raise is a raise is a raise. Money is money. MBZ, you have stuff that you do.
I do things sometimes. You can follow me at Lord MBZ, the Twitter. I do another podcast called This Nintendo Life. It's on iTunes. You can follow the Twitter account for that, which is at TNL Podcast.
When's the next episode coming out?
We're going to record it this weekend. Should be out for next Monday. We're a 2-weekly schedule on that one. Mainly because I would kill myself if I had to edit that show every week. But
plus, like, since it's so focused on Nintendo, like, how much Nintendo news is there every week?
Well, we don't really cover news that often, only when it's major, which is why our show's set up to be like, what we've been playing, then emails, and then like a feature topic discussion. If it's a Nintendo Direct or something, we'll obviously cover that. But it's kind of the way that show goes.
It's a good show. I like it. I would recommend finding it on iTunes and finding this on iTunes as well. It's on there. You can find it. And I think that'll do us for this week. Next week we'll talk more about the Hall of Fame, the Video Game Hall of Fame, and some other stuff that'll happen, I'm sure, throughout the week. And maybe I'll think of something else fun to talk about. But for now, this has been Gamecast. You've been thoroughly entertained, and we're out of here.
Bye.
Bye-bye.